This is Alžbeta Bátoriová. She is infamous as a serial killer in the history of Hungary and Slovakia and is remembered as the Blood Countess of Countess. How did she acquire such a terrifying title? Let's delve into her dark story. Elizabeth was born into the wealthy noble family of George and Anna Báthori, one of the richest and most influential aristocratic families in Hungary at the time. Her extended family included esteemed individuals, such as a prime minister of Hungary and a cardinal. Her uncle, Stephen, even became the king of Poland. In 1575, at the age of 15, Alžbeta Bátoriová married Count Ferenc Nadasdy, who was 10 years older than her. As her husband came from a lower noble family, Count Ferenc Nadasdy adopted the name Báthori as an additional surname. However, Elizabeth continued to use her family name, Báthori, and did not change her name to Nadasdy. The couple settled in Countess Castle, a fortress located in the mountains with the village of Countess nestled below. Elizabeth rarely saw her husband as Count Ferenc was often involved in battles against the Ottoman Empire. Ferenc became renowned as a hero in Hungary, earning the title of the Black Hero of Hungary. Being young, Elizabeth always felt lonely due to her husband's absence. It is said that she had numerous secret lovers who fulfilled her intimacy and sexual desires when her husband was not around. Elizabeth even eloped with one of her lovers at one point, but later returned, and her husband forgave her. However, her sexual cravings remained unfulfilled. Additionally, it is known that Elizabeth engaged in a lesbian relationship with her aunt, Countess Clara Bathory. Later on, Elizabeth became influenced by the teachings of Satanism imparted by Dorothea Schenz, commonly known as Dorka, one of her closest servants. Under Dorka's influence, Elizabeth developed a fondness for sexual gratification through the torture she inflicted upon her young servants. Alongside Dorka, Elizabeth was aided by her trusted servants, Sister Aluna Jew, male servant Johannes Ujvari, and a female servant named Anna Darvula, who also served as Elizabeth's lover. Together with her sadistic crew, Elizabeth transformed Countess Castle into a center of terror and sexual torture. The young girls serving as her maids were subjected to various forms of torture, including bondage, nudity, whipping, and the use of instruments to inflict pain on specific parts of their bodies. In 1600, after Ferenc's death, the true era of terror began. At the age of 40, Elizabeth realized that her beauty was fading. Her skin showed signs of aging and wrinkles, which were natural at that age. However, Elizabeth worshipped beauty and perfection and was willing to do anything to maintain her youthfulness. On one occasion, a maid who was combing Elizabeth's hair accidentally pulled it too hard. Enraged, Elizabeth slapped the unfortunate girl. Blood spurted from the girl's nose and landed on Elizabeth's palm. At that moment, Elizabeth believed and suspected that the blood of young girls emitted a youthful radiance. Without hesitation, she ordered Johannes Ujvari and Dorka to strip the girl, tie her to the edge of a bathtub, and cut her veins. As the girl bled to death, Elizabeth immediately entered the bathtub and bathed in the pool of blood. She believed she had discovered the secret of eternal youth. As all her young servants perished, Elizabeth began recruiting young girls from the surrounding villages to serve in her castle. Their fate was the same. They would be bound above the bathtub, and their veins would be severed, allowing their blood to drip into the bathtub. Often, Elizabeth would bathe in the blood-filled pool while witnessing her victims' agonizing deaths. Occasionally, she would even drink the girls' blood in search of what she referred to as inner beauty. Over time, Elizabeth felt that the blood of village girls was no longer sufficient for her needs. To obtain higher quality blood, Elizabeth began targeting lower-ranking noble girls for her victims. However, this action backfired. The disappearance of noble girls quickly attracted the attention of the nobility, influential individuals, and even the king himself. On December 30, 1610, a force led by Georg Thurzo, who happened to be Elizabeth's cousin, launched a nighttime assault on Countess Castle. They were all shocked by the scene they discovered inside the castle. A pale, blood-drained girl's corpse was found lying on the dining table, while another girl, barely alive, was tied to a pillar with her veins cut, allowing blood to flow. In the prison area, several girls were found detained, awaiting their turn to be killed. In the basement, there were over 50 mostly decomposed bodies. At least 650 names were recorded in the Alžbeta Bátoriová trial in 1611. These names were obtained from various reports, ranging from peasant families to nobles. However, Elizabeth herself was never brought to trial for direct judgment. Only 4 of her servants were tried and eventually executed. The King of Hungary ordered Elizabeth to be confined to her chamber in Countess Castle for the remainder of her life. The workers then sealed off all doors and windows of Elizabeth's room with walls, leaving only small openings for food and drink to be passed through. In 1614, 4 years after Elizabeth was isolated in her own chamber, a guard noticed that the food served to Elizabeth remained untouched throughout the day. The guard peered inside and discovered Elizabeth lying face down on the floor. Elizabeth, known as the Blood Countess, Gräfin Báthori, died at the age of 54 on August 21, 1614. After her death, Elizabeth Báthori was buried in a church in the town of Countess, Slovakia, near Countess Castle where she resided. However, after some protests, her grave was moved to an unknown location. To this day, the exact whereabouts of Elizabeth Báthori's grave remain a mystery and unknown.